Here is what Twitch is doing with midrolls. Right here. Here's what's causing the wailing and gnashing of teeth. These ads will directly support the creator, and they won't run if the viewer has had an ad break in the channel recently. So, ads on YouTube are more primitive than they are on, or ads on Twitch. Here I go mixing up red and purple again. More cold ones. Ads, I gotta felt bottom that thing as well. Ads on Twitch are more primitive. Technically, ads on Twitch are more primitive than ads on Twitter, because ads on Twitter have skip buttons these days, as I found out to my pleasant surprise. But you're talking no skipping, you're talking a 30-second unskippable pre-roll as you're getting ready to try. If you're curious about watching somebody, you basically cannot channel flip on Twitch because of these pre-rolls. If you don't have a bunch of subs going, and that's the intent. I mean, the ads might inconvenience you into subbing. But number one, there's an ad blocker out there. There's also Twitch Turbo you can get, I think. But there's ad blockers out there. People can use them, whatnot. I mean, what exactly is Twitch doing by keeping this model around at this point? There's ways around it that don't involve Twitch Turbo. And again, it's this whole thing with people versus technology, which deserves its own diamond in here. Let me actually load the PowerPoint so I can flash back over to it. The people and technology, I've got it saved at this point because I've referenced it so many times. This should be a scene in OBS at this point. Everything on these platforms, your growth, challenges, and now the ad experience, ties into this relationship between people and technology. So, you can have issues as Twitch with people using technology like ad blockers to get around these problems, or you can just cater to people by allowing the ads to play, but at a different time. I happen to believe that if you are channel flipping, if you change channels, it should start something like a 2-minute timer. And as you flip around on Twitch, that timer keeps getting reset until you start watching somebody. Because here's the thing. You have in advertising what's called a bounce rate, and that is people that just completely leave because of something. So, if you have somebody who is leaving Twitch and going to YouTube because they're bouncing on a pre-roll ad, you've lost them no matter what. And yeah, it counts somewhat as an ad impression, but is one ad impression really worth someone bouncing from the site? As opposed to a little bit of hook time, so to speak. The way I think it should work on Twitch with the pre-roll system is that going to a Twitch channel starts a 2-minute timer or something, some arbitrary value that Twitch sets. And that timer keeps resetting every time you change channels, so your only options to avoid ads are to channel flip and not really know what's going on with anything you're watching. So if you're gonna play the system like that, you're not gonna have much of a good viewing experience anyways. But here's the thing. You gain the ability to channel flip due to this behind-the-scenes timer that keeps resetting when it's time to run an ad if you're just flipping channels. And then when you finally find something to watch, you start watching a little bit, the ad plays, and you continue. But the bottom line is you can channel flip on Twitch, and you can poke around looking for new people to watch without getting stopped by ads over and over again. So, okay, you have some recommended channel or something. Let's see if they're any good. Okay, no, they're not. Let's click over to someone else. How about this? How about this? Okay, here we go. Here's someone I'm going to watch. I watch them for a certain amount of time, then we get the ad break. And Twitch can help pay its bills with whatever they make off of that. That would make a lot more sense than what they do with pre-rolls. Now, when it comes to mid-rolls, the test is for automated mid-roll ads for some viewers that directly support the creator, and they stop if the viewer runs an ad break. So here's the thing. For what Twitch has as an equivalent to YouTube's mid-rolls is affiliates and partners can run ads. They have on their dashboard ad break buttons. Actually, if a bump on a log like myself had an ad break button, I do that too to support the platform. The issue here is Twitch streamers many times are not business-minded. They're not thinking in terms of running their stream like a television show. So if they want to take a break or something, run ads. A lot of times I'll see, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom, I'll be back, we'll pick up this Call of Duty thing later. And then you just stare at their chair for like 10 minutes or something. I've been watching a lot of streamers since getting into this platform. I've seen a lot more footage of people's chairs than ad breaks, or even be right back screens. Just something, and there's even, of course, that infamous incident with Kiara Kitty, where people thought she forgot to turn off her microphone to go do a number 2, until someone who has way too much free time on their hands over on YouTube found out that she was playing a YouTube video that is basically, someone doing a number 2 for 10 hours. So, I can't believe there's people with that much free time that they could match up the sound with something on YouTube. Did they use some kind of like audio search engine or something, like play the clip or something and find out that it was a YouTube video and she was faking it to farm LSF? But anyways, bottom line is that is one incident of someone pulling a prank on their audience by, pretending that they forgot to turn their mic off when they went to go to the bathroom. But also, you have that incident, but I've also seen that plus lots of footage of people's chairs when they walk away from their stream for whatever reason, as opposed to be right backs and ad breaks. So bottom line, streamers are not running these breaks. And these platforms do not run off of spit and elbow grease. So let's compare Twitch to YouTube in this matter. When it comes to mid-rolls, YouTube, anything, currently the standard is now 8 minutes or so, used to be 10 minutes. And there's some people on there's ways of finding out that there are people making videos and trying to pad out the video length in order to be able to run mid-rolls. That's a thing too. But what matters with YouTube's rendition of this is scalability. In other words, if people spend large amounts of time watching YouTube, how much time does YouTube get to work on paying its own bills? Because if maybe some of you have, you're really young and you've known a world your entire life where YouTube is a thing. But I remember, yeah, I'm old. I remember the world before YouTube. Don't rub it in too much, folks. Get off my lawn, kids. So, in the days before YouTube, there were joke video sites where you could download like MPEGs of funny videos and stuff. I used to use collegehumor.com a lot. There's even a spin-off called highschoolhumor.com, which is supposed to be like the teen version of College Humor for like goofy prank videos of high school kids or something. And the College Humor was the college one, of course, but you download all these MPEGs over like your college broadband or something, and you fill up a hard drive with stupid videos. There's actually a website, it might still even be around, I don't know. It's called stupidvideos.com, and it was basically like TikTok. Not necessarily with a TikTok format, but with dumb viral videos. It was a predecessor to YouTube. And I actually knew of a couple of websites where people were like posting videos of like their business or something like that, or they were trying to essentially be a YouTuber in the days before YouTube. And in some cases, the cost of hosting, bandwidth, having, web server space and stuff like that all was too expensive for them to keep their websites going. Video used to be the sort of thing that was so expensive that it would shut down a website if they couldn't pay their bills. If they couldn't find some way to pay the bandwidth bill or the server bill, their website would go down or get locked or something like that until they caught up. So, if you've been around for that amount of time, and you remember the world before YouTube, then you'll know that something like YouTube and Twitch is quite a technological marvel. It is amazing that these services can exist at all, being free. And it is even more amazing that people can get so used to these free services that they can start getting snooty, picky, and whiny about them. How are these folks paying their bills? Well, I'll tell you, advertising. Same as radio. What's the feedback loop that keeps radio stations going? They sell advertising. That ad revenue supports the talent, which does the shows, purchasing, paying, blah, 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 whatever, rights, management, things like that. That supports the talent The talent attracts the audience. And as the audience grows, the radio station can negotiate higher costs for selling that ad space because they're growing their audience. Or they have these demographics, or this with that disposable income, or blah, 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 blah. And so on and so forth. One of the ways in which YouTube specifically has veered away from its competition is that it runs like a media setup, like a media radio station or something like that. There actually have been, I think Vimeo might still be doing this, there have been competitors to YouTube that run like they're selling storage space for a website, except they're doing it with videos. And in some cases, you have to upload. I've seen platforms and services where you have to pay a premium fee if your video goes viral because of all the extra bandwidth that it's taking up. Everybody's watching it, so now you are sapping this service's systems because everybody wants to watch your stuff. Now you got to pay extra. Sounds insulting, but it might still be out there. And that just goes to show just how used to this setup with Twitch and YouTube we really are. So for Twitch and YouTube to be the way they are, free, and for people to be so used to these platforms that they get upset over something like this is really a marvel. Really something to behold. So, on YouTube, the ability for YouTube to pay its bills, maybe, that's been questionable the whole time YouTube's been around. How are they gonna... And this is the part where somebody comes in and says, well, they're part of a big company, it's Google. Well, here's the thing. If you are a business unit that's not doing well, it can be almost as bad as if you were a business that wasn't doing well and your competitors were crushing you. Nobody wants to work for the part of the company that's the boat anchor to the company's ability to finance itself, or pay its shareholders, or pay its investors. There is no free pass anywhere in the private sector for poor performing businesses. Now, there are some businesses that are run badly on purpose to affect an industry or some niche thing like that. Maybe they're funded via something else that is way more successful. And in some cases, when you're talking about products and services, you have what are called loss leaders. Stuff's being sold at a loss on purpose for some other reason, and an opportunity to make that money back. So if somebody sells, for example, something cheap to get people to go to a grocery store, then they hope they make money off of selling something else at a markup to make that back. That's a sort of rare exceptions where some kind of poor performance will actually be allowed. But for something like YouTube, that's just not the case. Business unit or Twitch under Amazon, business units need to pull their weight. Unless there's some special arrangement, which good luck finding out if there is one because it's internal business information, you're talking about a situation where everybody has to do their fair share. And Twitch is no exception. So over on YouTube, the ability to run mid-roll ads scales the more you interact with and watch stuff on the platform. In the case of mid-rolls, one of the reasons why I don't like mid-rolls either, the reason why I turned them on my own videos on YouTube is I started noticing algorithmic differences in terms of how much the algorithms like your stuff that scales with how much money YouTube can make off of your content. The reason why I focus, like I've said numerous times, on the money side of YouTube is because that's what YouTube focuses on. And more recently, in the last couple of days, I've dug around my channel to videos I never got around to monetizing, and I noticed that their views are just dead. So, even compared to similar content that I did monetize, the monetized stuff has done substantially better. You're talking decimal point differences. Like, the non-monetized video gets 2-digit views over years, and you see 4 or 5-digit views, or 3 or 4-digit views at least, on the monetized video. So maybe at one point I was like, casual monetization, see if we can get some pocket change out of the deal. But I am so convinced now that YouTube's algorithms prefer whatever makes the platform money. And you don't have to take that from me. You don't have to get that idea from me at all. You can listen to the discussions of various YouTube brass who are talking about making things that are ad friendly and stuff like that. This emphasis on ad friendliness, family friendliness, or should I say ad dollar friendly or traffic friendly content. Content that's not likely to drive away any element of folks who want to watch YouTube. So there's an emphasis on that. Emphasis on that at the top and all the way down the chain after that. So with YouTube, the more you interact with and watch stuff, the more mid-rolls you see. And as YouTube transitions towards more long-form content, like as it becomes better at streaming and more people are streaming, that's one of the key differences. Your stream replays are YouTube videos over on YouTube, whereas they by default will expire on Twitch unless you use the highlighter to highlight them, cut them up, or save them. You can technically save streams after the fact by making them into a gigantic highlight, quote-unquote, at least until Twitch cracks down on that, I don't know. They'd probably want to do that technologically instead of issuing disciplinary action for people doing this, because I know some big streamers that save streams that way. So you've got that going on, but here's the thing. Twitch does not have the scaling that YouTube has. You'll get a pre-roll when you tune into a streamer, and then afterwards it's up to the streamer to actually run anything. And like I've said earlier, I've seen way more footage of people's chairs than Be Right back screens or any kind of ad breaks. So what do you do? YouTube can figure this out. YouTube has robust support for mid-rolls, and sometimes the robots are a little too aggressive. There's people that are complaining on YouTube about too many mid-rolls for a video of a certain length, but it basically means the automated systems can be turned up or down to try to pay YouTube's bills. You know, as YouTube's been ramping up the advertising and now ad breaks have multiple ads in them, that didn't used to be the case before. It's a fight. It's a fight, and YouTube, in order to not be a deadbeat business unit, so to speak, and actually pull its weight, needs to chase after this. So they've got this down pat with the whole thing with mid-rolls, and it scales based on how much you're watching, and it also takes into account things like streaming and stuff like that. By the way, another thing people are saying about streaming and mid-rolls is, oh, you might miss an important moment. YouTube has DVR mode, so if you do miss a moment because of some kind of ad break, you can actually rewind the stream and see what you missed. That might be the next thing Twitch should consider copying. Just like when they copy that whole thing with VOD views being your live views plus after-the-fact views. Not that it matters. Twitch VODs do not get the same treatment as YouTube videos, as we've experimented with over and over and over again here. Not the same. Definitely apples and oranges. So, I support this. I absolutely support this. Twitch is probably going to work out the details. It's funny how people are acting like this feature is already launched when it says right here, "We'll be testing. Your feedback is welcome to help shape this feature." And people are going nuts about it. Like it's already everywhere and there's not anything anybody can do about it. I think it should happen sooner. This has been a weakness of Twitch from a business perspective for quite some time. How exactly is Twitch, with people streaming for hours and hours and hours, going to have any kind of scaling advertising for what they're selling all that stuff to? And of course, when you have more ad slots, you can, talk about the price and the CPMs for that sort of thing as well. Oh yeah, you can have an ad that, so once in an 8-hour stream will show your ad, versus X amount of minutes if the creator doesn't push a button, then there'll be ads that'll be playing. So it's all part of the negotiation if it isn't completely automated yet. Now let's look at some of the things people are saying about all of this, starting with Asmongold. If you want to incentivize streamers to run ads, the worst way to do it is punishing their viewers by forcing ads during potentially awesome live moments on the stream. It's business. How are they supposed to keep the lights on? Increase ad-free view time for running a mid-roll if you want more streamers to run mid-rolls. Right, and? I think the biggest thing Twitch needs to change with the advertising is doing something about the complete inability to channel flip on Twitch. Whether you're looking at the ad or looking at the app, or you're looking at a web browser, Twitch is very much designed like TV. You flip through your channels. except you're going to get ads half the time you try and see, well, what's somebody else doing? My personal pet peeve with this is when you have a bunch of streamers doing something together with all their streams going at once. And that's the point, of course, where you want to have all the streams going in tabs on your browser or something, specifically because of this problem. You can't just flip between them. I think that's one of the biggest things that keeps people from watching more stuff on Twitch, is that they can't just... I mean, if you're watching TV, how does it work? You're watching your show, you get to a dull point in the show, and you're like, oh, I'm going to see what's going on over on this other channel. And then you use the, previous channel button on your remote to bounce between stuff. It's what people are already used to. Even older folks that don't do a lot of stuff with computers. This is already something that's out there. You'd think Twitch would have some kind of online parallel of that and encourage that behavior, because people already do that. And that's why I believe that the pre-rolls should be replaced by an ad timer. So as you flip, it resets the timer, maybe up to a certain amount or so, but you have the ability to channel flip without getting punished with pre-rolls just because you're watching channel A and you're curious about what's going on channel B, or C or D. And of course the whole issue at Twitch and weaker discoverability technology. And how it doesn't make any sense to try and grow on Twitch. You want to grow somewhere else and bring the audience back. How is Twitch going to fix this if you're constantly having these issues? So, oh look, someone responded to Asman and then deleted the Twitter account. How do I opt out? Da-da-da. Digital Bob green screened himself. Da-da-da. This affects subs that pay $4.99 a month. No, it doesn't. Da-da-da. Let's go back down to normal size here. Isn't it kind of bad there could be ads when something interesting could happen and the viewer has to watch ads in that time and then rewatch it later? See, this is the thing, YouTube has already been through this before. This is yet another situation where something is happening, on Twitch that has already happened on YouTube X years ago. So YouTubers are already familiar with this because it's already happened before. And then you have all these people, younger millennials even, that may not have been involved in content creation during the heydays of YouTube in the late 2000s or so. Unless they did videos as high school kids or something, barely old enough to use the platform in the first place. But this whole situation, you got all these people out there that are basically, Twitch is their YouTube. And they're treating Twitch like YouTube. But let's see here. Isn't it kind of bad there could be ads, something interesting could happen? Totally understandable, the stream will be muted, but will continue to play in a smaller window on the page. So yeah, there's picture-in-picture and stuff like that. Why don't you guys just do in-window ads? Make it an overlay type thing. The stream will play in a smaller window still on the page. Yeah, you see, that's the thing. All this stuff's happening on Twitch, and people are acting like it's never happened before. That's how you know the difference between Twitch people and YouTube people. Because all the YouTube people already have seen this before. They remember when Midrolls first rolled out on YouTube back in the day. So this is something that's already happened before. And once again, Twitch people are acting like it's this terrible thing. So, nope, not any YouTuber's first rodeo. Not even close. But it's fun watching these people flip out. Big purple Armageddon and stuff. It's fun watching these people have these problems with all of this. Now, it's so horrible, it's so horrible. Oh, man. And where's the business sense and whatnot? This old form of advertising with this new form of live content does not work together. I would much rather see timed ad breaks, picture-in-picture without mute, or overlays do not interrupt the flow of a broadcast. Oh, yeah, probably should mention, YouTube has DVR mode, so people can rewind streams if they think they've missed something. Please don't, Twitch. We take 5-minute breaks every hour so we can run our ad and then no one misses the stream and add disabled pre-roll ads just so people can join the stream. I'd be happy to pay whatever amount. Yeah, pre-rolls are a wall to people being interested. It's amazing that Twitch doesn't try to go with a better system like an advertising timer. Now, Twitch looks like a TV. Why can't you use it like a TV? Every hour. Also, the pre-roll ads have made it exhausting to look for raids, which is a huge way we support other streamers. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. A little bit of an issue with bounce rate if the pre-rolls are deterring people from using raids and stuff like that. It's crazy, man. see what other people are saying. I've seen people flip out about this, but it's just part of the business. And it's interesting how people are skipping to step 3, Armageddon. This one here. Let's see your ads and whatnot. All right, let's go through this list here. Ads are bad. Here's why. The value of live content happens live. A viewer can't get back those shared moments unless you're on YouTube and using DVR moments. Oh man, this is clip from OTC Dar. Went back to the VOD to relive this moment. Still as magical as I remember. I'm actually getting a picture-in-picture ad for Dunkin' Donuts while I'm looking at this clip that people are passing around. Twitch makes an unreal amount of money from ads. Ah ha! Oh man. I'm just reading all of this. So terrible, you can't opt out of the ads. Yeah, it's almost like every time Twitch comes out with some kind of technology that already exists somewhere else, it's more primitive. Like ads not having a skip ads button. Why does it always have to be this way? It's not like Twitch is some ragtag small business. They're under Amazon, for crying out loud. Shouldn't some kind of feature parity be something that folks at Purple are doing? Or pushing for? What's it gonna take? Alright, enough of Twitter. Bottom line, I support the mid-rolls. It's probably something that should have happened earlier. I don't care who dislikes me for this. Look, you cannot mix up problems with pre-rolls with inherent problems with Twitch that are not being addressed. You just can't. Sorry. You just can't. You can't. It's just nuts. But it's fun to watch people flip out about this because they feel so entitled to a free service that doesn't run off of spit and elbow grease. Oh, man. And I'd like to also say once again, this is yet another example of why I think Team Purple is getting ready to go on the defensive versus Team Red. YouTube is becoming more serious as a streaming platform, and that's when Twitch is going to have to figure out what's going on. They're working on feature parity, raids, all kinds of other interesting stuff. And just today, channel customization is now available in YouTube Studio. There is no needing to go back to the old YouTube One channel thing, which was half broken to begin with, for things like what sections are on your channel, what's the channel trailer, things along those lines. It's fun. It's fun watching these folks scramble the way they do. Excuse me. It's fun watching competition in action here. But it's just... when you see Twitch people making a big deal out of something YouTubers are very, very familiar with, you just gotta laugh. It's just crazy how many of these people, number one, take the platform for granted. Number two, act so entitled like this. Like, they should be able to do like a 24-hour stream and never run ads. I just don't know how somebody at Twitch hasn't felt so ripped off versus what YouTube has here. There's ways around this with technology. Nobody needs to make a big deal out of this, but it's good for making YouTube videos and chasing clout on Twitter. Usual nonsense from the usual people. Everybody trying to look all big and stuff like that. Let's look at Harris Heller's response here. Things can be done to fix Twitch's ads experience. Make them skippable, yeah, like even Twitter does nowadays. Make them shorter, YouTube. Allow lower third ads, utilize space, give creators an actual cut of the revenue. Yeah, that's part of the issue there, too. Make an option where if you have enough active subs, it counts as Twitch Turbo. That's never going to happen. So it makes sense, but at the same time, it creates some kind of ceiling or something like that. But this is one of his points. Never gonna happen. Matter of fact, Twitch Turbo is the sort of thing similar to YouTube Premium, where you might see something happen if too many people purchase it. Because when you have something that scales, such as advertising, versus something that doesn't, like a premium service, what happens when too many people have the premium service? And now the revenue stream for this gigantic platform that needs infrastructure, bandwidth, and all this other stuff this gigantic platform now has less revenue coming in to support itself. So I think, you know, the first and worst answer to this is to make the experience even worse if you don't have the special membership. So make up for the people with the special membership by running more ads for the people that don't. So does anybody really want to see YouTube become as bad as television can get with 20-minute, like, you know, 10-minute ad breaks or something like that? Way too many commercials. Yeah, this is going to be a tug of war for quite some time. Yep. So we'll see what Twitch does with this. Again, I'm going to be the voice of reason here. Twitch is only testing this out. And yet you can tell who the naive talking heads are on Purple's side because they're already lashing out like this is a feature that has been released. Final form. This is it. You know, it's out of beta. It's gone to retail. This is nuts. This is absolutely nuts, but it's what I've come to expect from this platform. And the people who chase clout trying to make themselves look like they're the gurus when it comes to it. Ay, 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 ay. We'll be testing automated mid-roll ads. Ay, ay, ay. I'm heading back to YouTube. Social medias, youtube.com/MultimediaJay, twitter.com/MultimediaJay, twitch.tv/MultimediaJay, and multimediajay.wordpress.com. Again, thanks to John Aaron for the offline follow and stuff like that. Time to get back to the slogfest that is what the 9 to 5 is like this week. Don't know what platform I'll return on, but I do still have YouTube videos and stuff, quite frankly, that's been sitting around for way too long. Unfortunately, because of this week's events, the stuff that's been sitting in the box from Amazon is now going to sit in the box from Amazon for weeks now, because once again, big long work week. Whatever. Next week is supposed to be just as bad, too. We really hit the snake eyes on this one. Till next time, this is MultimediaJay signing off. Thanks for stopping by.
257. MultimediaJay Radio Style.